That was When I Was the Wolf by Kimba Anderson, longtime bass player in the San Francisco music scene. And he joins us live now from his home in San Francisco to talk to us about his long and storied career as a musician here in the Bay Area and what he's working on now and his goals for the future. Kimba, welcome to New Music Mondays.
Hey, Davey, how you doing?
Oh, great. It's so nice to see you. It's been, well, at least 6 months.
I know. Yeah, it's good to see you too.
Yeah.
So
So,
thanks for playing my new stuff. And a couple of weeks ago, you played some of my dance hits of the apocalypse. You played "We've Got to Stop the Party," which I had my daughter sing on.
yes.
There was the other one I have is "We're All at the Edge at the End of the World." So
Good.
these are just like, it's new music, so I thought I'd bring that up. These were stuff I wrote just during, I kind of whipped those up like at the beginning of the lockdown. I thought it was kind of reflecting what was going on then.
Yeah, for sure. And in a few minutes, we're going to listen to Feral Resistor, followed by Dimension X.
Yeah, I've got a lot of half-baked stuff that I'm working on right now that are kind of like demo tapes for things I'd eventually like to bring musicians in on. But it's me playing everything and singing everything. And they all seem like they need like, oh, this could probably use a third verse, and this could probably use a tricky part and maybe a middle eight, maybe some kind of solo here. I mean, it's, they're kind of hashed out, but I think they're fun enough to listen to and put them on New Music Mondays because it's all pretty new.
Yeah, absolutely. And anything that you do is gold, in my opinion. So,
Oh, thanks.
so speaking of gold, you've got a lot of gold in your past as well. Let's talk about your career as a musician. You've been in Bastard Sons of God, Specimen, of course, super famous band, Shark Bait, who were at least locally famous, if not more. Candy Ass, who I have some very fond memories of from the 90s in San Francisco personally. And Roadside Memorial, who I know very intimately. Shared a stage with Roadside Memorial and
Did a lot of shows together.
friends with all the people in the band and everything. So when did you start playing music? What was the impetus behind you becoming a musician?
Well, my first real band, I was probably about 20 years old. I had a band in high school, did kegger parties and stuff. But I've been going to the rock club since the early 80s and going to the MAB. People may remember the Fab MAB, the Fabulous Mabuhay Gardens. It was actually like the CBGBs of San Francisco. And started off with the Bastard Sons of God. They were my favorite band. I've always like stepped into my favorite band a lot of the time. I've been very fortunate. So like they were already a band, and then the bass player DJ was like, well, I'm gonna go off and do this other thing. And he kind of a prominent thing in LA. And so I was not a very good bass player, and Frank Wilsey was the guitar player, and he was just like the guy in town. For a lot of people in San Francisco in the early days would probably just go like, oh, Frank, well, you can't get past. He's being Joe Perry in this band Aeromyth in Vegas right now. That's, he's making a living and having fun playing music still. But anyway, I was in the Bastard Sons of God and I was doing that for a while and for about a year and a half and having fun with it. And then DJ wanted back in the band because it didn't pan out for him in LA. And I was like, oh, but guys, and they're like, oh, sorry, dude. But it's DJ. And so like, I was really sad. And then like a week later, I get this message of like, Specimen's in town, they need a bass player and everybody's talking about you. And I was like, wait, what? And so I just like, I had their poster on my wall since I was, a kid. I'd seen them when they came to San Francisco 2 years before. And I learned the songs. I got asked to go to Ollie's house. I went to Ollie's house. He opened up the door and he stepped out and walked around me and he goes, well, if you can play, you're exactly what we're looking for. And so he's like, why don't you come in for a cup of tea? We went in, we talked, and I said, I'm pretty confident. And he goes, great. And then we went down to the studio to play. This is turning into a story. So we went to the studio to play, and I was not much of a pot smoker, and everybody else was. And I just didn't want to feel like I didn't want to feel left out or uncool or whatever. So I took a couple of hits off of this joint that was really good weed. And I was in that place where you're kind of in between the film frames and you're not quite,
Right,
and
right.
you're just like, holy shit, what's my name? And I was so scared and I forgot all the songs. And they went, we're going to play like, it starts off with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And he started that drum beat. And then all of a sudden, I knew the first couple of notes, and then we went to play it. As soon as we first hit the big note, boom, for Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the power went out.
Oh, you got saved by the
And I
power.
got saved. I ran upstairs, took a walk around the block, got a cup of coffee, and just walked around the block and breathing and came back and nailed it.
Ah, nice work. Nice
Yeah,
work.
it was funny. Somebody was watching out for me. It was really funny. I had great shows with them. A lot of close calls. The cat's cradle of like the famous like mess of webs all over the place. We did that at every show.
Yeah.
All across, all over the stage, and put things hanging in it. We would get to the shows like hours early and set up all that stuff. And at the end of the night, like during the last couple of songs, Ollie would like grab it and be yoinking on it and then hand it to somebody in the audience. So it would always come tackling in on us and pull us into the crowd every night.
He recruited a couple of other Bay Area musicians as well, right?
Yeah, yeah.
St. Pierre on drums.
Yeah, we had Tim, the original drummer, and then he went to New York, and I don't know how to finish that story, but anyway, we ended up getting Jeff, and we did a bunch of shows with Jeff as well. And Jerry Finale, who is from, she's done a lot of work with, she's Rock Justice. Like if you want to go way back, she was like, used to tour with the Runaways and stuff like that with a band called Rock Justice. And then she eventually went on to do like Red Cross. Are you familiar with? Yeah, she's like where Slut was like, the face of Specimen. Jerry Finelli was like, there should have been somebody that was kind of in between that, like somebody that can play, but like Jerry was like so classically trained. I mean, she plays at like ballet recitals and she's like she's just off the hook piano player, keyboardist, she's just, I think she played with Cyndi Lauper for a while. She's like incredible. So.
Well, I know you played a lot of gigs with Sharkbait, and you were in them for a number of years as well. I'd like to hear about that because, online every time I see old flyers from the clubs from the 80s and 90s, you look through and see all these great old bands that came through and all these local bands that maybe you've forgotten about or still listen to and love. And Sharkbait is almost always in there, at the old bottom of the hill flyers or Purple Onion or wherever. Tell me about your history with Sharkbait.
Sharkbait was kind of its own type of band. You've heard of I Stunden Neubauten. It's kind of like them. There was another band called Crash Worship.
Yeah, of course.
Lots of performance art, lots of full frontal nudity, lots of tribal drumming. We had a lot of like flaming oil cans and a lot of metal with contact mics with gated reverb. Like you'd have these shafts and springs and you'd be playing with really thick sticks. We would have taiko drummers come up and set up around this, around the stage. So you would be kind of surrounded by the sound. We had a 36-inch bass drum at the back of the stage. And we had like a traditional drummer, but with stuff, what we called the tree. And it's too much to go into. We had a lot of gizmos and jackhammers. I'd set my bass on fire and have somebody jackhammering it, and I'd be in a thong or like a G string, like thrown out on the crowd, and like it just like complete mayhem. There's a couple of Sharkbait videos online, but we did the Lollapalooza tour in '92, and I was exhausted after that. I mean, they got us up they got us up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. We had to set up a bunch of stage stuff. And plus they like, their whole deal was like, well, if you don't come and tour with us, we're going to rip you off anyway, because we have this thing called the Rhythm Beast, and it's basically your show, but it's so people can play it. So there was a lot of stuff. So we're like, well, of course we want to do it. And then we had to do it like on their terms. So we were working from like 6 o'clock in the morning until about 10 o'clock at night. And then Ministry wanted to party with us. And so that was, hard luck story, but we were exhausted. And then we had to go party with Ministry. But yeah, it was a good time. I was pretty cut after that tour.
Yeah, yeah. Huh. Wow. So yeah, Sharkbait sounds like more of a kind of a commercial radio friendly band then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Oh,
good.
and every show we would have a crush cage, and it was in our contract that they had to give us, like, we had all these drumsticks, and they had to have at least like 50 dead television sets for the audience to come in and crush. And we would set them, we'd like pour kerosene on it or denatured alcohol, and then we would have the Mr. Clean blow flames on it. He was one of the members of the band. He could blow huge flames. He would set fire to like this, pyramid of televisions, and you go in the crush cage and crush televisions while the band was playing. So, it was total performance, over the top.
Well, speaking of over the top, I've been wondering if I should warn you about the spooky and very threatening character behind you. But I assumed that you already knew that they were there. That's the character from Tiptoe Past the Witch. That is the witch.
That is the witch from Tiptoe Past the Witch.
Right.
Rumi Misabu plays the witch, and I didn't really name the witch, so we just call her the witch. But
So that's one of many sort of non-musical projects. Well, it seems like your music projects and your art projects kind of weave together in a way. Anyway, that's the project of yours that I'm the most familiar with, besides the bands that you've been in, because I actually saw Tiptoe Past the Witch at a film festival at the Kabuki Theater in Japantown. I can't remember what year that was. It wasn't that long ago.
About 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2018, 2019.
Yeah,
2018, I think.
It was great. It was so psychedelic and amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, so tell us about that. And I also want to hear about Kimbas Cave, which is your really weird, twisted children's show.
Yeah, these movies take a lot out of me. And Kimbas Cave almost ruined my marriage, because it just takes so much out of me. It's, my wife and kids had to put up with a lot. But, I like to build the sets and the props and the puppets and all the stuff. And then I like to write the music, and then, of course, the script and everything. And then it's pulling all the people together and getting the money together and all that stuff. So there's so much, you're a producer, there's a lot of stuff that goes into putting an event together, putting anything together like that. Yeah. So I figured, well, if I do it all myself, it can't cost that much, but it still cost me close to 20 grand to make Kimbas Cave, and Tiptoe Past the Witch was probably around 10 grand. It's mostly in editing, because I want somebody to shoot it professionally and edit it professionally. And then everything else I'll do, I'll build all the stuff, I'll write the music and record this, a bunch of stuff. I'll do everything I can, but still, like, the professional stuff I want to have be professional. So the finished product is really good.
Right.
And so those are my two, like, really shining movies. I've done a couple of things that I put together where I've, did some editing myself. I did the Roadside Memorial video for Baphomet. I didn't edit that, but I, built a lot of the stuff for that. And that was another little project. Vince Gargiulo is the one who did most of the editing for Tiptoe Past the Witch. And he did the editing for a couple of videos for Roadside Memorial. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's really good.
The Roadside Memorial videos we can see on YouTube, but I know Kimbas Cave, you haven't quite found the right platform to present that or archive that yet, but I'm definitely hoping for that. What about Tiptoe Past the Witch? Can folks go anywhere to see that?
if you know me on Facebook, I'll send you to a link where I know it's at. It's on Film Fest because I was sending it to Film Fest. There's this website for Film Fest, and so people that know me go like, "Oh, I want to see it." I can direct them to that, but I have to like send you the link, so I can't do that. I really, I'm never really good with the business end or my follow through on like making something. I just like to make the stuff, and I wish there was somebody I could pass it off to like go, oh, well, I'm gonna make you $1 million with this one,
Right.
But I just like I get so tired after I'm done, and I don't even want to look at it after looking at it for so long.
I get that.
you know.
I know.
So, but I do want it to, because I love both of those movies. I still, when I've watched them with somebody, I've like, oh, it still holds up. I'm still kind of proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want to see if I can get them on like Amazon Prime or something. Rumi, the star of Tiptoe Past the Witch, there's a documentary of his life just made. And by the way, he wants to be called he. I've had a lot of people say, well, it's drag queen, you should call her she. He says like, I embody many creatures, male, female, and otherwise. So he says, I'm just a gay man that likes to, create. So he has a documentary called Ruminations, which I had nothing to do with. There's a tiny little snippet of Tiptoe Past the Witch in it. So that's neat. And it was on PBS. So I took a picture of it like with the little PBS emblem in the
Oh,
corner.
that's so cool.
Really cool. Yeah. Sent it to mom, like, I was on Channel 9.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm looking to eventually having them find their home on something like Amazon Prime or something like that, where people can watch it. Otherwise, if you know me, I'll send you a DVD, or you can just just hit me up and I'll send you a DVD. I got a little stack of them, promotional DVDs for both of them. They're both on the same disc. I'll send you one.
Oh, I would love that, actually. That would be amazing. Thank you. So that's what the future looks like for those two projects, trying to get them in front of the public. What about your music projects? Is the goal to start working with folks once the shelter-in-place rules are lifted, and try to get these songs more fleshed out and kind of in a band context?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just, like I said, I've got a lot of half-baked songs right now that I'd really like to, I'll flesh them out a little bit more, but I really like the magic that happens when you work with other people, when you're with a guitar player that surprises you and you go like, oh yeah, that's how I meant it to go. And they come up with something that really, because if you work with something too much yourself, it doesn't have as many facets. It's just you, and so like even when I have other people working on the movies and stuff, you get professional people that you trust with their input, and you have them cut the fat and come up with some of the ideas. Of course, like if it's your deal, then of course the final vote is yours. But if you're with people you respect, you kind of like ponder those suggestions a little harder,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I mean, Kimbas Cave would have been an hour long had I not had my professional editor saying like, look, you're asking a lot of your audience. You got to chop this off here. Here's your ending. You've already got a scene that's almost like this one. Why don't you get rid of that? And I'm like, wait. I spent days, no. You're too close to it. I can always put it back. Just listen to it. Just watch it this way.
Yeah.
So,
in band context, I think drummers are especially well suited for helping with arrangements and stuff, because they are often a little bit divorced from the melody of the song, which the guitarists and the singers might be a little bit caught up in, right? And they've got kind of more of an eagle eye view or whatever. So teaming up with a good drummer can really help.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you got that right. It is, because everybody's got a different angle on the song, and yeah, you just you want to make it, let the song talk to you, but and it encompasses everybody. You know, somebody's got the main idea and they have the final say, but you know, you're working with people that you trust, so there you go. You know,
Right. Are there any more current bands or old bands that are still putting out new material that you're listening to? Is there
I hear
anything?
The Cure has something new coming out. I'm looking forward to. I haven't heard it yet. I just listened to my daughter's way into the Gorillas, so I hear a lot of the Gorillas, which I like. I especially like what they do with the medium. You know, have you ever been to their website or watched their videos? Their whole thing is just, it's just off the charts to create, because I like creating a band that's got you know, you see them as less of like people making music and more of like creatures in a habitat. You know what I mean? Like they're creating a whole presence or a whole like backstory or whatever. And yeah, the people that created the Gorillas have really captured that.
Right.
And so yeah, I like the Gorillas. You know, I like a lot of the older stuff. You know, I like the where the Damned was at with Strawberry and what was it, Phantasmagoria. And then I also love the B-52s. Like those first two albums just can't be topped. It's like that guitar player Ricky from the B-52s. Just I picture him laughing to himself every time he wrote one of those riffs. You know, just because they're so absurd, and
Yeah.
his tone and his tuning and you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. When he was writing them, he had to have been like, I'm going to make this as difficult to play as possible.
Yeah, and it's just so, yeah, they're just, it's just so absurd. Boom, bow, boom, dum, dum, dum. You know, it's just that tone and everything about it. You couldn't. It's just ridiculous. I like the psychedelic furs they create. Like I love things that are really poppy. You know, the poppier side of like Gary Newman,
Sure.
Bauhaus, Adamant,
Yeah.
Tears for Fears.
Yeah. A couple of those that you just mentioned are still making new music. Psychedelic
Banshees,
Furs.
yeah, Susie and the
Mhm.
Banshees. There's a band, I wrote it down. My daughter got me into them. Molcha Doma, of course, they've got their that the bats that are hanging upside down. They always play. Everybody's playing that. My daughter and I bonded on that. Like, yeah, I was
Oh
like, oh,
yeah.
I
Oh
do
yeah.
have a little goth girl. My, yeah, I've been wanting my daughter to be a goth girl for a long time.
Yeah.
I tried
Yeah.
to get my kids into goth, both of them,
Well,
and they're both,
Molchat Doma was supposed to come in, I think, March to the United
yeah.
States. Yeah, they're from Belarus. I love them. Just played a video of theirs on New Music Mondays about 2 weeks ago. Um, and they're hoping, of course, to reschedule their tour to the United States, but just have to see where the travel ban and the virus and everything goes.
Yeah. I
So
just saw Nick Cave. I just saw as like far as like things that I've just seen. I saw him last year.
mhm.
Um, and I was going to mention I saw S's on your show. I saw that video that you had of S's, and I thought they were amazing. That video is great. We played with S's a couple of times, and I just thought that they really captured their sound really well, and they captured that singer, the anxiety and craziness of that singer
Yeah.
so well.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives you chills. I mean, seeing
Yeah,
them live, they're just as good live as recorded. You know, they hit all the notes and they're just amazing. Such great energy and super talented musicians, super sweet people.
yeah,
So
they're great.
speaking of the future in music, does your daughter have any aspirations as a musician? Because a few weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, we played the show You've Got to Stop the Party, which was essentially your song, but she played a very crucial role in that song. Can you tell us more about how that happened and what her feelings are since that's been getting a little bit of play?
You know, it's so funny. She doesn't have much interest in it, and I knew she didn't. But I just, you know, I'm always looking for ways to like. My kids are teenagers now. She's 16. My daughter's and my son's 13, and so I'm always looking for ways to like. Oh, come on, let me reel you in and do something. I'm going to be working on a video in a couple of weeks for When I Was the Wolf, hence the like beard and stuff. I want to be a little scraggly for it. But no, I don't think my daughter's interested in, at least not now, because I had, when she was doing We've Got to Stop the Party, she seemed a little reluctant. She's got a beautiful voice too, by the way. Like
He does.
she can really sing. But when she was singing that, she was so reluctant. She comes off like that's bourgeois European, like I
Oh,
don't love you,
the
I
bored
don't
woman, like
care.
the early '80s bored
Yeah,
woman sound.
yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
it's a great sound,
It
actually.
was. It was, and it worked because I kept trying to get her to do what I wanted her to do, but I was like, okay, you just go through it. And so I let her go through it, and she, or like the singer from the Flying Lizards, remember that
Yeah,
with I Want Money.
yeah,
Remember that?
yeah,
Remember that
yeah,
song?
exactly.
It kind of reminds me of that, where it's like it's really distanced and uncaring,
Yeah,
and
nine circles, curly in camera. I mean, I could name
mhm,
off a dozen off the top of my
yeah,
head, and they're all amazing.
yeah, and she really nailed that. I think accidentally,
Yeah,
and it really worked. So I'm pretty proud of that number.
yeah. Well, hopefully, with enough harassment from her rock star dad, she'll come around
Yeah,
and make some music with you some more.
she'll come around. She does a lot of art. She's really focusing on her art right now. So she's in the School of the Arts here in San Francisco. So
Very cool.
yeah,
All right, Kimba. Well, this seems like a good place to leave it. It's been such a pleasure hearing from you.
it
Uh,
has. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks a lot for having me, Davey. I appreciate it.
oh, yeah, please. Thank you. And we're looking forward to hearing more music from you in the future.
Okay. Hey, when I finish my When I Was the Wolf video,
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
I'll be a part of your Christmas special or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Sounds good.
All
All
right.
right, Kimba Anderson, thank you so much for joining us.
All righty. I'll see you later. Bye, Davey.
All right. This is Feral Resistor by Kimba Anderson. You are watching New Music
Mondays.
Hi everyone, hope you liked that video. If so, please like and subscribe to receive notifications when we upload more content. New Music Mondays is a live stream show every Monday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on twitch.tv/DavyBonesOakland. It features myself and a weekly guest DJ spinning new releases in the world of dark music, post-punk, goth, dark wave, as well as interviews with the people that make the music happen. So it's a lot of fun. Make sure to join us live. Again, that's every Monday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., or actually about 9:30 Pacific time. The audio will always be uploaded the next day to my Mixcloud page, mixcloud.com/DavyBonesOakland. And thanks for watching the video on YouTube. The interviews will all be uploaded to the YouTube channel, as well as an occasional kind of behind the scenes video as well. All right. Thanks again.